guys are.
Okay, go for it. It's recording.
I hear you've been a good boy this year, Crispy. Come sit on Sandy's lap. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys caught me reading my fan fiction. How's it going? Welcome back to the Global Nerdz podcast, the world's biggest podcast around the globe. I know that was redundant. I'll work it later. It's still better than what Wish did with its lyrics for the songs. To my right, we have Shy, and you guys might not know this, but we've been in the trenches when it comes to Christmas. Shy recently had his arm eaten off by reindeer who cornered him in a ravine. Down below, we have Mark. He just wanted to make presents for all of us, but the reindeer got in there. They ate the presents, and they also ate his face off. He's currently looking for skin grafts. Anybody who could help with that would be great. We're all kind of new to this. We've never dealt with reindeer eating people until now. Up on the ceiling, somewhere over the rainbow, we have Ty, the Night Moon Wolf himself. He actually has a pet wolf. He was just telling us about the pet wolf 5 seconds ago, literally 5 seconds ago. Reindeer broke into his house and ate the wolf. So we're in mourning right now. Please be patient with us today. And to the bottom right, he's also hiding in my bookshelf somewhere. He's probably hiding behind the Time Traveler's Almanac. He's the stealth master. Phil is the only person who hasn't had anybody eaten by a reindeer today because he's just that good at life. And up here, you have me, God's favorite autistic himbo, Real Crispy. My whole room got eaten by reindeer, and I just got texted, apparently Santa's hunting me down to eat me. He's mad dangerous. I'm terrified. Can you see the fear in my eyes? Guys, can you see the fear?
Do you have a chimney in your house?
Yeah, I'm filling it with like a whole bunch of coal though. All my presents that I got I was actually going to get presents for charity, but I care more about my own self-preservation, so I'm cramming them all into the chimney so Santa can't make it down. But I'm just like, I'm hearing him growl a little, so he could make it at any minute.
It's good. Just light a fire. Santas hate fire.
Yeah, that's some suspense for you guys. Santa could break in any minute and eat me.
Well,
Merry Christmas.
So, gentlemen, we're back. We're on the old Skype-a-roo today after the because apparently reindeers love Skype. So, we're a little bit kind of like testing those waters. Santa, he's more of a Zoom guy, so I think we're okay for now.
Yeah, he doesn't even pay for Zoom. Like he has to reset his hunt every 50 minutes because the Zoom call times out.
You can't really do much in 50 minutes when you're going around. You go around the entire world. It's impossible.
He flies around the whole world in like a night, so he could probably make it work.
So yeah.
Oh, you just have a trail gauge shotgun and shoot his ass. There you go.
He can. But if you corner him, you might have an advantage. Santa can't fast travel when enemies are nearby.
Yeah, he's fast as fuck. That's why. He's on them pork chops.
He's just dropping a sack at every single house. So
you see, he's struggling getting out the damn sleigh.
he's getting around that Santa. But that can also lead into our first topic. We're going to talk about comic books, but did you know that in X-Men, the Santa is a Omega level mutant, and he is one of the highest powered ones out there.
I believe it.
You said X-Men?
Yeah, they got him in the X-Men comics.
Yeah. I actually came across that he's pretty much the most dangerous one.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Even Apocalypse? He dangerous in Apocalypse.
Santa's a threat.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, for 2 seconds I was like, why is he not in DC? I was like, oh, actually no, it's a Marvel, isn't he? What's some of his powers? So what makes them? There's got to be a list. What is it?
What, say ho 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 ho?
I mean, okay, so I'm gonna list them off in my opinion. The fact that he can control animals, the fact that he can shapeshift the fact that he can break into houses seemingly, which is part of his shape-shifting abilities, the fact that he can turn into dust. Let's see what else. The fact that he controls an army of like 1 million small mystical elves. The fact that he can literally, I'm going to say this, even though he doesn't have it, I'm going to say this man has telepathic abilities, because ain't no way this fat mofo knows every single thing that's happening in the world.
I think
he got telepathic abilities.
I think pretty much you pretty much nailed that right on the head. It says here, so it says on the Marvel wiki or fan wiki, whatever, powers and attributes. Santa Claus has a number of magical abilities, including longevity, can't say that word, the ability to fit himself and others through any chimney, avoiding fiery injury in process, levitate up a chimney, alter the appearance of himself or other objects or beings, can change the size of other objects, teleport himself and others across the road, generate snow and determine who has been naughty or nice. I can't even say that one. What else has it got? I wish they could just list it.
His presents have a mild reality bending power to them.
What else? It says he commands a sleigh pulled by a number of magical flying reindeer. Okay.
I just realized we're reading the exact same article.
Oh,
right
now.
I'm sure are you on that article?
Are you on Marvel's fandom page? Yep, yeah, that's the one. Santa Claus, Earth 616.
Yeah,
I'm there too. I love how speed is his highest stat on the power grid.
Yeah, intelligence 3, strength 2/4.
I think that you would think that his fighting skills would be higher than a 1.
Yeah, I reckon, because the way, like, if you see this picture of what he looks like on when you log in or when you click it, it's like he is fucking built as like anything. You kind of think like one punch he could send people anywhere he wants. So yeah, that should be a lot higher than a 1.
Have you built some trains and shit?
Have you guys seen Violent Night yet?
Nope.
No.
It's think Die Hard meets Home Alone, and Santa is played by David Harbour. That's Hopper from Stranger Things. He's basically become very cynical about Christmas and how commercialistic it's become, but then he goes to deliver presents to a rich house that has been taken over by Hans Gruber-esque thieves who are looking for their next big payday, and Santa's trapped there like John McClane, and he's got to free them all. Big twist is, before he became Santa, he was a barbarian and basically this one-man army conqueror who became Santa because he wanted to atone. And now he's got to reawaken his dark side to save Christmas.
See, when you were speaking about that, I generally thought you were talking about a YouTuber called Tomska doing Christmas Demolition. I was like, yeah, I've seen that. And then you're like,
no witnesses.
Let me link this so you can see.
I think I know the one he put. Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
My favorite part in that is when the kid comes down. And he's like, what did I get for Christmas? And the guy goes, nothing. I'm like, brilliant. Absolutely love it. It is a fantastic video. I miss stuff like that. Like that was done at the YouTube space in London. And I was just like, damn, it's one place I actually want to visit at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, YouTube's not the same site that it used to be, but you still get a lot of amazing content on that site. You just got to know where to look.
With commercials.
Yeah. This video right here is the same guy, and you see just how far he goes to keep no witnesses from seeing him.
Yeah. Secret Santa.
But anyways, like we've talked on this podcast before about things, we don't like to offend people. We don't like to, bring up stupid crap. But wait, there's more. How dare they retcon 2 of the most popular series? Because we got to retcon Nightcrawler from X-Men, who is a very, very, very beloved character and has done very well in 2 X-Men movies series that got retconned, but stayed towards the lore of Nightcrawler. Why does he have to have two mothers and spider powers?
Well, I don't know anything about the spider powers. I know. I just the way that
I
Chris
just
laughed
saw
at that, and I was
that.
like, why? You get two mothers and you get spider powers. I don't know why he has spider powers. I don't know why they retconned his origins, because you find out about the father, but one thing I remember hearing about this just recently is apparently the reason why he still looks the way he is because apparently he after Mystique was with was still with the original father, and this apparently has some DNA still on him, and I was just like, okay, great.
Oh no, from what I've been reading on most of these Facebook posts, no, Azazel, I think it's Azazel, was the demon's name. He's out of the picture. It is Mystique and some other girl, and it's canon. No ifs, ands, or buts.
You talking about shit, I can't say it. Azazel.
Azazel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because they've recently retconned it all. I think the main problem is because I know Nightcrawler was he was hardcore Catholic or Christian, like 100%, like he was hardcore it.
Yeah, I think he was Catholic.
Yeah. And they recently got rid of that, and I don't know the reason why, but I think when you start messing with people's origins, you start you have to ask the questions why, and I also think it's kind of very disrespectful to the original writer who came up with it. So obviously with Mystique having being able to shapeshift and have all the working parts of a guy, fine. The partner, absolutely fine. But I think that when you start messing with people's origins, that's when it's like, okay, because then what happens if this gets absolute praise, and then a year down the line, someone comes on and goes, I'm just going to rewrite that, and then you start messing with that sort of thing, which shouldn't happen. I think you should just go, right, this is the character, the origins is this, we're not changing it, and so on and so on. Otherwise, you just start messing up everything. Which I'm not a big fan of. I don't really like.
What my question is, and I'm coming into this from someone who knows next to nothing about it right now, is this a retcon in an existing story, or are they doing a universe reset?
I think it's just a retcon. I think.
Hello.
We just found something.
Yeah.
What did we just find?
So, according to, because I looked up Nightcrawler, that specific one, mind you, I don't know why people are bitching, because according to this, the mother was Mystique, and the father was Azazel.
Yeah, that's what we were saying before.
That's how it is in canon.
Specific one. So basically, these pictures almost are fan fictions. It was probably made by someone just to piss people off at this point.
Oh, bad. Okay, was it AI generated?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, so you got to watch out for that stuff. Okay, I guess we put a misinformation warning at the beginning of this, but hey, we caught it, guys. We caught it.
It's possible misinformation.
I've seen people turn around and say that it's actually true. It's in the comics. I will have a look into this.
Sorry, you first.
No, go on. You go ahead.
I get why people get worried about this, but if it's I don't know if this is true. And again, this just pertains to all of these other reboots that happen in comics. And in larger series like Power Rangers, for examples, these kind of resets are sort of a necessary evil, because this is what the MCU is dealing with right now. They put so much in there. There is so much lore that a lot of people just don't have time to catch up on, that you're going to lose audiences. And if you want things to stay together, sometimes you've got to start fresh. That's why comics reboot shit every few years. Like, that's why they do universe resets, and when it's time to go back to the old ways, they have something for that. Like, I think DC did this recently with the New 52. They did a universe reset so they could catch new audiences up on a new canon. When people wanted the old canon back, they did this crossover with Watchmen, where Dr. Manhattan was the one who caused the universe reset by just warping reality and altering everybody's memories, and Superman convinces him to turn back the clock, and that's how things go back to normal. Sometimes you got to do that. That's how you keep yourself from losing people, and that's how you keep things friendly for new audiences. It's a necessary evil.
Right.
So I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind retcons or anything like that. I just want them to make sense. Like, I don't like it when, say, characters get changed for no reason, or it's completely out of the blue when you've had established. So say, for example, if it's a character you've never really seen, and let's say it's Bob has only been in X-Men issue 1 and that's it, and you've never seen him again, and then suddenly Bob is the best thing around since sliced bread, and then you want to give him a new backstory. Awesome, then you can rebuild it. But then when someone else comes in a lot later and goes, "Let's change this," and it's like, nah, man, like you've already established something. Bob doesn't need that.
Yeah, it goes from, especially with the Nightcrawler. I loved Nightcrawler. I loved him in X2 and 3. He did the character who played Nightcrawler in the Days of, I believe it's Days of Future Past. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Dark Phoenix.
I think he was. I did not see Dark Phoenix. I don't know. Days of Future Past. Oh God, was he in that? If he was in that, it was only as a cameo.
I don't remember, but his stories made a lot of sense into that. And his character was very well developed. I think they should have gone a bit further with his character in that, but even in Evolution, X-Men Evolution, I loved the character. And X-Men, the original animated series, they gave him a straight backstory to fit the scene.
Right, so I found the comic book. So if you give me 2 seconds to go through it.
2 seconds are up.
Oh, damn it. Okay, so that image that we've seen that you shared isn't AI.
It was.
It's not AI. It's all.
Oh, it's not AI.
So that's legit.
It's legit. It's in X-Men Blue Origins, and it was released earlier today. Yep. So it's all official. So it wasn't fake or anything like that.
I mean, well, while I don't necessarily agree with Nightcrawler being a Spider-Man variant, just, looking at this image alone, he does look good as a Spider-Man variant, but I don't agree with him being a Spider-Man variant just because with the abilities he has, it makes him, in my opinion, too overpowered.
Do you think the reason why he's becoming a Spider-Man variant is because they want to sell more comics because of Spider-Man? Like, Spider-Man's always going to be a hot character. Like, he is still, I think, the number one kids, like, superhero type thing. Do you think that because if they make Nightcrawler look like him or give him the spider powers, that he is officially like, oh, this is like Spider-Man, and we need to capitalize in on Spider-Man.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah. Yeah. At this point, nothing would have surprised me.
Speaking of Spider-Man, did you guys hear Tom Holland's recent statement about a new Spider-Man film?
Was it
Nope.
something like, I'll only come back if the story's good?
Exactly.
When has the story not been good?
I
Well,
thought
it
it
has
was
been
good.
good, man. Honestly, like Phase 4, for all the shit they've done, No Way Home was really good. It was great,
Right.
and it left me, honestly, it's so good that I'm terrified by the prospect of there not being a new Tom Holland Spider-Man film. I really hope they bring him back. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, like, I guess that means if we hear about Tom Holland coming back, that means the project's going to be good. That's why, same reason we got Kung Fu Panda 4 to look forward to this next year. They
Toy
said they would
Story 5.
Yeah. I'm not so sure about Toy Story 5, man.
Andy sees this toy's worth how much
Yeah,
on
I'm
eBay.
not sure about that either, man. I mean,
And they,
Tim Allen asked. He asked for to be the kid to be grown and stuff.
They did announce Toy Story 5. They also announced Frozen 3 and Frozen 4.
Yeah, and apparently, what's the name? Elsa is supposed to be marrying a female.
I can buy that. I always
Yeah.
I always thought she might have been lesbian, honestly, ever since the first film. I think it makes it interesting because, like, Let It Go always had there was sort of a coming out subtext there. So if they want to go all the way with that, go for it.
I mean, hey, to each his own. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't judging it. So,
I mean, with how the sequel
It's
to
not really a bother though.
our last Frozen sequel kind of sucked, so I'm not 100% confident.
Anything with Olaf in sucks balls, and I will
my
always
God.
hate it. I hate Olaf. He's like,
And
oh my God.
there's only a few things on my I absolutely hate this list to the point where I would commit murder if these characters were real.
yeah, and I know I talked about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish a lot, but you know what? I'm going to be unexpected. I'm going to do something different now. So I'm going to talk about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish real quick. The character from that movie, have we seen the movie? Am I still the only one who's seen it, or did you see
can
it?
talk
Sarah?
about it.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, you can talk about it.
They have a dog sidekick in the film. They eventually name him Perito. I think that's Spanish for puppy. And he is basically everything Olaf should be. Genuinely funny, but also really, really sweet and heartfelt. Like, there's this one moment in the movie where Puss is being chased by, without giving away too much for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, the main villain of the film, he's being chased by him while he's on his last life. So if this guy gets him, he's dead for good. And eventually he straight up has a panic attack, a very realistic panic attack in the middle of a dark forest. Perito finds him, and Perito's whole goal is like, his backstory is he wants to be a therapy dog. And he's just like, he's not sure what to do at first, but then like he looks around and he just like lies down and he puts his head on Puss's chest.
Oh,
And they just have like they have a 15 seconds where he does just that, and it's like it's the sweetest moment ever.
Yeah, it was a very, very heartfelt moment within the film. Me personally, I don't necessarily care for that particular character, mostly because from now it's not the fact that I don't like the character. It's the fact that the way they do those certain type of like jokester type characters, like comedic relief type characters, it's a bit too much comedy.
I feel that, but like, I feel like he worked in that movie because they don't put all of the comedy on him. Like, he's not the only source of comedic relief. You've also got Big Jack Horner, and every other character has at least one funny moment. Even the wolf gets one at the end. And yeah, I mean, like, you don't want to put all the comic relief on one character. That's too much for them to handle. And not to mention, he's also a good deal. He provides a good deal of the heart of the film too. I think that's why he works. But yeah, I get where you're coming from there.
Yeah.
But
I just hate Olaf so much.
yeah, the second movie completely turned me against him. I can't even really enjoy him in the first one anymore.
Well, shoot, call me blind because I've never seen any of them. So
It's good to a
good.
point.
Me either.
Yeah, just Olaf annoys it. I think the first time I ever saw him was on a YouTube advert on one of my videos, and he's doing the whole, like, he's singing it, and I was like, I hate this already. Like, I hate this with a fiery passion. There's only one thing that actually generally really made me laugh, and it's in the song where he's like talking about summer, and it's like how the sun like gets rid of snow, and he turns around and he says something, and then he looks down and just sees a puddle, and then looks at it and goes, and then carries on. I was like, that's actually generally really funny, but I hate him.
Yeah.
There's only a few characters in life that I can't stand: Neelix from Star Trek, Echo the Dolphin, Olaf, and Ron Weasley.
Wait. Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, so let me just turn the other screen off or close the pages because things are thinking. Okay, so Echo the Dolphin, when you first play it, it gives you no hints or tips on where to go. It doesn't tell you what to do. It just says you're just swimming around. There is no kind of like markers to say jump into the sky to then start the game. So you because obviously back then, like, I was a kid, so I would have to rent games and stuff, which is fine. So I rented it once. I was just playing it and I had it for an entire weekend. And there was no way in hell that I could figure out how to go into the sky. Like, when you speak to dolphins, it's just like, oh, there's something that's come from the sky that's taken us. Oh no! And you're like, okay, that's not the thing. Aliens have come down. Okay, cool. All right. You eat things, you speed about, but you're in such an enclosed area. And then when you finally figure it out, what is the game? You're like, I can't be arsed with this. But it's also the creator of the game turned around and said he made it so hard that he didn't want people completing it in within a weekend or the first night.
Okay.
And I'm just like, why would you do that? Like, this is bad game design, because you don't want your customer base to complete it, and there's probably like a million levels or whatever.
Well, they don't want them to complete it in a certain time. They want it to be a test of patience.
Which I can get behind, but to be fair, like, if you don't give your player base like any part of how to start the game so that they can enjoy it, then why are you doing it? It's like if you played, I don't know, say Call of Duty, and it's the tutorial stage, and no one says pull the trigger on the gun, and then there's no button to say pull the trigger. Or you play an RPG. Sorry, Call of Duty was a bad example. You play an RPG and it says, like, to get out this town, you have to do 3 things, but they don't tell you what those 3 things are, and they just go, bandits are coming. Oh no, bandits are coming, and that's it. That's all the town.
So you're describing Star Ocean in a nutshell with the private actions. Screw that.
That's probably it. I'm curious, how many levels does actually Echo the Dolphin have?
Like 30 at least.
If it is 3 levels, I'd be like, no wonder they made it so hard.
No, not 3. I think it has like at least 30. I'm not sure. It like I haven't played that game since I was little, so I couldn't remember right off.
Just to clarify, what game is this again?
Echo the Dolphin.
Echo the Dolphin. I've never played that game.
I never heard.
It was an old PC game.
Okay, so you have.
It sounds like the same philosophy that goes in. Sounds like the same philosophy that goes into like a Souls game or Fear and Hunger, something like that. Like, it's meant to be difficult. That's part of the point.
Yeah.
Right.
The fact is, these games are made for kids. I mean, there's 24 levels for Echo the Dolphin, and the fact is that you spend most of the time trying to get out the first one, which could take hours. Now, it's the same thing as like Aladdin, or the most infamous one people hate is The Lion King, where you get up to the point.
Man.
Yeah. So where that game is really it's infuriating when you get to the monkeys and you've got to try and get them to fling you over to the other side because you can't just jump over whatever. It's like that's enjoyable because you can actually like you try and figure it out, and it actually says you have to get across this thing because there's alligators or whatever and you can't jump into the water. That's fine. That's saying you have to get across to here. Echo, nah, just let you swim around for a bit. I hate it.
What's crazy is when they do that shit in Super Mario Sunshine. Masterpiece of a game, but like you know how when you have to get around you need to have one of the villagers throw you?
Yeah.
And they'll throw you in like the completely wrong direction.
Right.
Or they'll throw you too far and kill you.
Yeah, because I remember, because I have the game in my drawer. I remember there was one part in the game where you're in the village. I forget the name of the place you're in. It's something Plaza, but I forget part of this. But it's pretty much there's this little it's this little sun star in the tower in the town, and you gotta get one of the villagers to throw you into the tower to get that star. And if he throws you wrong, you slam straight into the damn thing and basically almost get killed instantly.
Mm-hmm. So you just spontaneously combust upon impact?
Pretty much. Pretty much. I'm like, yeah, this is good game, but the mechanics were just all over the place.
Yeah,
the story, the story was kind of like wonky, but just whatever.
That's true. I mean, like, actually, no, I have nothing to add to that. Fully agreed. Yeah. Hey, I guess they can't all do Super Mario Sunshine, right?
So
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Like going back a little bit to Echo. So a company that I used to work for, they were like, oh, if you can, Echo the Dolphin, if you found Echo the Dolphin, you could probably trade it in for a lot of money. So I'm kind of looking at it now. It's like, oh no, it's all goddamn cheap. They finally, after about 5 years, thought, man, this is a shit game. Let's not pay that much money for it.
Right.
I'm so glad.
I think the one thing that probably got on my nerves about Echo the Dolphin wasn't the fact that they basically did not let you know how to play the game. Is the fact that like you said, once you start figuring out how to do it, you had to get through the coral reef part, and if you touch one part of the reef, you end up losing health. And then when you get past the reef, they got all these enemies like the octopus and the sharks coming at you, and you can't let them hit you or anything. I'm just like, so
I've
playing this.
I feel like I should see if I can emulate this game at some point.
We can. I'm very tempted to actually do like a deep dive into the game, and actually buy it on like Steam or something for £1, and then just be like, fuck it, I hate this, or find it on like something decent. Like I can be like, shit, let's play this game and see if I hate it. I'll probably be like, what the? I'll have to see it on Xbox. I'm not buying it on Steam because you have to map the control pad for that, and that I have no time for that whatsoever.
If they did a remake
mods for it, but
thank God for emulators, though. Seriously, because some like the games that just aren't practical to play on a system anymore, emulators come in clutch, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate them.
You're gonna have the AI playing the game for you.
There you go. There you go.
Record that footage for me. Here's the game. I fucking hate Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah. Speaking of games, I'm seriously, this game's kind of obscure still, so I understand if none of you guys have played it yet. Have you guys played Fear and Hunger?
Nope.
Oof. Might be one of the coolest games ever. I mean, like, it is very difficult. It's like a mix of like Souls level difficulty with survival horror. Basically, you have to go into a cursed dungeon and rescue some people. But like, let me just tell you how the game opens. To be to give you an example, you hear you start off outside the dungeon. if you hear these barking sounds in the distance, and you can wait, but they will get closer and closer. And if you let it happen, the dogs will chase you. They'll follow you into the dungeon, and like they will attack you. They're very hard to beat. But if you go into the dungeon early, you'll often run into an ogre who unless you're playing as the knight in the beginning, he will rip you apart. He will cut off your arms with his cleaver and your legs, and that is a permanent effect. Unless you make a child sacrifice at some point in the game, the arms and the legs are gone. And you wake up in a dungeon, this tiny little dungeon that you have to crawl out of on Nubs. And how family friendly do we want to keep this? Am I like
just go for it? Just go for it.
All
Why
right.
not?
One of the stats you have when you wake up. One of the I'm just gonna implied. Why not? One of the stats you wake up with in the dungeon is anal bleeding.
What's
Yeah, and you lose blood as you go, and the player the character will pause and he'll need a minute, and as you're trying to crawl out of the dungeon, you come across this floating head that comes out of the floor, and the floor and the walls are all covered with carcasses, by the way. And this fucking wizard is taunting you. He's immune to damage. All the while, this giant minotaur is slowly walking toward you and looming over you. And this is a turn-based game, and he will throw you back into the dungeon after he quote crushes you with great pressure. Interpret that as you will. And that's just the tutorial.
What type of GTFO in agony gameplay is this?
Oh yeah, and if
that's a completely different game, Philip.
I was gonna
Sounds like some South Park shit.
I was gonna say that sounds a lot easier than Echo the Dolphin.
And just in case you want more of an indication of how crazy this game is, it was made by a Finnish man, and it's popular in Russia. That's where it's most popular.
Of course, that explains everything.
And what happened? Okay. No.
Lord. Oh Lord. Hey, Ty, like agony in this game may be completely different, but just from what he described, that's on the level of agony. I've never even played that game.
I just think anal bleeding was it's a thing.
Yeah.
This man said floating the heads coming out the ground. Floating the heads coming out the ground. You getting chased by an ogre. You getting chased by a minotaur. What you getting taunted by? What?
Then your ass bleeding at the same time.
Oh,
bleeding
what?
We're all English.
Yeah, they can keep that game. Fuck that.
Right. No.
Imagine somebody coming to your house and you playing the game. It's like, what are you playing?
You'd be amazed.
Wow. Sit down and play. Enjoy this game that we are playing together. Because now you're in it, you have to stay with me.
Oh no. Nah, I couldn't do it.
Oh no, stay away from that game.
Right. I think Press is having some technical issues.
He said BRB.
Anyway,
Y'all see the chat?
let's talk about Mark's doctor.
Oh, my Doctor Who. My Doctor Who. I will say this. I have not enjoyed. No, tell a lie. I've enjoyed it to some degree. I'm just not a big fan of a few elements that they've put in, but I still think that Doctor Who these two episodes have been more enjoyable than Peter Capaldi and Jodie Whittaker. Much prefer the new David Tennant, but there have been a few things that have kind of put me out, and I've been looking around and listening, and I can understand things from all sides. Just not a big fan of where they shit on David Tennant in the first episode, where they put in pronouns. Now I'm not really opposed to pronouns. Cool, if you want to tell me yours, that's absolutely fine, and I respect that. But it's just the way that in the story it comes out of nowhere. So spoilers for for Doctor Who for the first episode. But there's a part in it where they're talking about the Meep, and I absolutely fucking hate the Meep. It's a horrible thing. And then there's a part where the Doctor goes, okay, maybe we have to help him. And then Rose turns around and says, excuse me, did you just assume his pronouns? And I'm like, that doesn't really need to be in there. Like, I think that a better way you could have done it is if the character, the Meep, went, actually, you can call me the Meep, refer to me as the Meep. That would have worked a little bit more, because it's the Doctor going, oh, sorry, yes, I should have known. What are you? He, she, they? And I'm like, it makes the Doctor look like he's never come across pronouns, yet he's over 900 years old. So, what was another one?
Well, according
Are
to...
we back in business?
Yep.
Well, according to this Doctor Who, this specific one, he was the first and only Time Lord from another universe.
I don't remember them saying that he was the first one, because obviously the only one you've got is because it carries on from the Timeless Child. So you got obviously Jodie Whittaker. You find out about the fact that he is the Doctor is a child when they find him on Gallifrey, and he is from another universe. But not necessarily they've added that in. I don't remember hearing it whatsoever.
I remember seeing a clip where the Time Lords were experimenting on him.
Oh yeah, so that's
they. It makes sense. Okay, so going back to the whole pronoun thing, Doctor Who is a they, because
fair enough.
And
he's beyond space and time. He'd be beyond gender too. It makes sense.
And because of the regeneration, it makes sense, because he can be whoever the hell he wants. That's why I don't truly have a problem with this new Doctor. And that's why I didn't have a problem with Jodie. Is because I think it needed to be said, but as soon as we get into the back story of the Doctor, yet again, and the Timeless Child, you see the Doctor regenerate within 5 minutes worth of a time stream.
See, this is where I think the Timeless Child story arc should be retconned. Right, that is one thing, because if you're not familiar with Doctor Who, and this is to everyone, and everyone listening and watching, so originally the Doctor has 12 lives, and that was established from day one. So when the Doctor dies or is hurt really badly to the point where he is near death, or they are near death, what will happen then is he'll regenerate, and regeneration energy is like massive power. It is the superest power in the world. So all the way through, you then get to Matt Smith's run, and it makes sense. I think this makes sense, because the Matt Smith was meant to be the kind of last Doctor, so he goes off to Trendalore to die. He's like, I'm going to defend this place from whatever. Everyone's going to come at me because they want this time energy. I think it's time energy. So this is when Clara turns around and speaks to the Time Lords and says, hey, he needs more life, give him help. So effectively they give him what could be another 13 lives. Perfect. So he gets his energy back and he goes on. So now we skip to the Chip Hudnall, I don't know. We get to the Jodie Whittaker era, and there's a storyline called The Timeless Child, where you find out that the Doctor has come from somewhere else, either out of the universe, somewhere else. I don't think they mention it. And, they are a small girl. And the Time Lords, they experiment on her because they see the potential in regen energy. So they go through this entire thing, as Ty said, is, they experiment constantly, killing till they get the actual the knack down, and then I think the Doctor regenerates into a small kid, and then obviously then grows up to become the old Doctor, and this therefore starts off. Now, the main problem with that is you have made an OP character that can never die, that has way too much energy. So normally when the Doctor goes, oh, hang on, I'm going to talk my way out of it, he doesn't want to die, or they don't want to die. So it gets to the point now where, fine, kill me, shoot me, and I will blast you with time energy, and I'll regenerate because I can keep doing this. So therefore now there is no danger to what the Doctor does. Where are we going with this? So I think they should have got rid of that story arc. I think that they should have give that fear back to the Doctor and gone, the Master played a trick on you. The Master got in your head. That never happened. But Russell T Davies, no, he's keeping it in there and changing one thing, because now he's gone back to David Tennant. So the 14th Doctor is technically the 10th Doctor, but now the 14th Doctor is different from the 10th.
Yeah, like I didn't understand why they brought Tennant back to play the Doctor.
I know.
Just okay. Joey's time is up. Let's reserve. Wait a minute.
So
I know these teeth. I know these clothes.
The reason why they did it was to bring back fans, because the Jodie Whittaker series is the worst rating Doctor in Doctor Who history.
Ooh.
It is that bad.
Oof.
Because what they're doing, and so this, now I know why we were speaking about regen. So I'll mention this now before I forget. So Chibnall turned around and said that he wanted to leave a big impact on the Doctor Who community. He wanted to leave his mark in history, and that's why he came up with The Timeless Child. So he wanted to fuck everyone over and then be like, peace out, bye, and then that's it.
Yeah,
so,
going back to the first iteration of the Doctor that we actually are supposed to see in The Timeless Child, it's a black African child, to be specific.
Is it? I thought it was a girl, because the first time he was a girl. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, a black African girl.
I thought it was a white girl. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
No, because and this is a big reason it's in a big controversy right now, is because, well, it's just a black gay man. You're just having a problem with a black gay man.
The thing is, we don't know. We don't know what it is like. Effectively, the Doctor, I think, is asexual, because that's been the whole thing of the Doctor. Oh yeah, it was. Okay, I thought it was a white girl. You can tell how much I paid attention to that episode. So the fact is, the Doctor I think is asexual. The only major love interest that I've known that he's had is Rose, and the rest, no, Donna's always been the best friend, and he says that the first time he meets her, he's like, I need a mate, and she's like, what? You want to sleep with me? He's like, no, I want a mate, a friend, and they become best friends. So there's never been a thing where they fall in love with each other.
Wait. No, wait, that was his daughter.
As somebody who hasn't watched Doctor Who in forever and is way behind on this, I'd just like to say hi.
So going into so much lore and dropping on you.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I've never watched it, and I've had it explained to me multiple times by my one friend, and I still cannot understand it.
Yeah, I love the episode.
It's timey-wimey shenanigans series BS.
I love the episode where Matt Smith's Doctor is like, y'all should play Fear and Hunger.
I remember that episode. It was a fucking great episode. He said it in the TARDIS while throwing Clara.
But I do have to say, and we were talking about this a little bit on Scyther Audio Dramas Discord a little bit. The War Doctor was a retcon.
No, it's not a retcon. It's not a retcon. Because he's basically the bridge between the Christopher Eccleston Doctor. Was it Christopher Eccleston Doctor?
Yeah, Eccleston was 9.
Yeah, so it's because you never saw the 8th Doctor or the 7th Doctor, basically the one in the shitty film, regenerate. And there is a small thing that is a web episode where it shows you that he can become who he wants. So the Doctor saves this person on a ship, and it crash lands on this weird planet, and he meets these 3 people who are basically, they have the chalices that can change a regeneration, because the Doctor's already started his regeneration process. So they say you can either become a girl, you can become this, or you can become something that you don't want to be. And he takes that chalice and he drinks it and then becomes the War Doctor, and then does what he needs to do for that one episode, and then regenerates into Christopher Eccleston. And that's what you see at the very end. It's a weird thing, because, yeah, he is, but the War Doctor I don't think's been retconned or got rid of. Not unless they have actually officially said that somewhere, but no, he's still a big main part of it, because he's a part of that that special, and it'd just be weird to get rid of him, be like, oh, that's not happening anymore.
According to what I believe Mitch was saying, the Eighth Doctor had transcripts or something that detailed how something about the basically how he was gonna save the Time Lords and Gallifrey by the looks of it.
Well,
and the War Doctor was never needed because the Eighth Doctor had already done it.
That wouldn't make sense of how the Eighth Doctor would have saved Gallifrey, because, hang on, let me look at this one. Who is the Eighth Doctor? Because if it's the one from the film. Okay, yeah, so the Eighth Doctor was in that shit. It was in the shitty American film that they made, and it didn't really make any sense. But he would have become the War Doctor. He would have become the War Doctor, because then you see him in that entire special. So he's a part of it. It's like you can't retcon him, because you then see at the very end of that special, when he goes, oh, it's time for me to regenerate, you see him turn into Christopher Eccleston. So, and there's a whole thing. So I don't know why they're saying like he's been retcon or whatever. It's part of it. It's, you know, it's part of the process.
Yeah, again, for the most part, Doctor Who is timey-wimey shenanigans, and it has always been timey-wimey shenanigans.
It is a good series. Like, if you do decide to watch it, it is fun. It's just quite recently they've had a lot of like bad choices, I think, when it comes to writing, because they want to shock the audience all the time, or they change stuff that's happened in the past. And it doesn't need
Bird
to.
expectations.
Yeah. Well, the fact is, it's been going on for like 75 years. So it's one of the longest running sci-fi shows in the world. And now they're absolutely just trying to fuck it up. It's just like, if it's been going for 75 years or more, why? Why fuck up something that's so good?
Yeah, and that's basically how I'm looking at Nightcrawler as well. Going back to that little subject, is don't, and again, call me right wing, call me far right wing, I don't give a damn. But here's the thing. I'm one of those people that treasures what has already been written. And if you're going to retcon and mess with the lore, make it make sense. Don't overdo it. I get you want to do your own fan fiction, your own universe. That's fine, but don't overdo it. Like Chris said, how many, and we've said it on this podcast before, how many times does the DCU need to get rebooted? How many times do you need to reboot something and change everything? It's a migraine.
Many times it takes to get it right in sense of DC. Now, with everything else, I don't know.
Just for clarification, I know if people put it in the comments, it's the 60th anniversary is coming up this year.
Yeah.
Because I said 75. 60.
Sometimes the reboots got to happen. Sometimes they do it wrong, but I don't know. I'm just kind of, it disappoints me But I think the people who say, "Oh, you ruined it," the Ghostbusters remake with the all-female cast ruined Ghostbusters. No, it didn't. The Ghostbusters movie is still there. You can go and watch it whenever you want. It's not going anywhere. But like, I do get the complaints. Bad writing is bad writing at the end of the day.
I think that's what a lot of
Bad
people
improv.
see. A lot of people kind of focus in on like, oh, you hate it because it was all full of women. No, like I saw the film because I wanted to see it myself, and I was like, okay, let's listen to it. And I think some of it is really interesting. Like the action scene at the end is fantastic. I just didn't like the fact that they went after men a lot. Like they made like Kevin, Chris Thor, Chris Hemsworth. That's it. Like they made him stupid. Like if roles were reversed and they brought in a girl that was like that, then there'd be hell to pay. And I just didn't like the fact that they made it like that. Or the fact is that most time it's like, oh, let's like kick him in the bollocks because that'll bring him down. I just feel like most of it didn't happen, and you had like one thirsty character. Because if roles were reversed, and you had like a guy that was constantly coming on to like the really good looking secretary, or the help, whatever Thor was meant to be, like people would be like, oh no, that's really really shit. But it just came down to really bad writing. But apparently if you criticize it, it's like no, fuck you, and you shouldn't be doing that. It's all the best. It's like, no, it has shit writing, and that's the reason why people didn't have it. And it also had Jenny McCarthy in it.
Melissa McCarthy.
I watched that film, by the way, that Genie film, and oh my god, it was one of the worst films I've seen, and it wasn't due to her.
What Genie film?
So I think there's a film called Genie, and it was done by Sky, like a TV broadcast over here. And it's basically about a guy who is always working. It's a typical trope thing. It's how all films are. So guy is always working, doesn't say no to his boss. His boss takes advantage. He then misses his daughter's, birthday. Then's dead late. The mother then goes off to her parents for a while, and the guy's got to reflect. Shenanigans happen, and then the mother comes back, and it's like blah blah blah. And it was a horrible film because it went from, and I couldn't figure it out, to, man, I love my husband. He's the most amazing person in the world. He's my guy. He's my person. To, I think I'm going to have a divorce. What? But it looked like it, even though they didn't say it. And I was like, where did that come from? To the point where she's like, oh, here's the other love interest. But like 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago, she said that she loved this guy to no end. And then they just went back in time to erase all of it. And I was just like, oh, God. What is even this film? And it was shit.
Mm-hmm.
And not due to Melissa. Melissa was actually okay watching. And I hate her so much for me to even say that. Oh, I just can't stand her.
Man, they do that shit all the time. Like instead of changing the story based on the characters, you change the characters based on what the story needs them to be at the time, even if it's inconsistent.
Yeah. I mean, what got me was the fact is, I mean, I can understand how parents have to work, and it's like the kid's angry, and then the parents are like, you always let us down, ha ha. It's like, yeah, but the guy's got a really good paying job, and the fact is that their apartment in New York was really nice, and you kind of think it'd be like, okay, I'll try and like cut down work, but I have to work, otherwise this is the lifestyle that we may not have. And I sat there going, yeah, I understand it. And then there's a whole story about the Mona Lisa going missing, and it ends up in his house because he makes a wish. And I'm sat there going, like, he can't be arrested, because even if they found it in his house, there's no evidence of him going to Italy, to Rome, to actually do it. There's no evidence whatsoever. And it's just like, oh, we got to do this for the film. And I was just like, this isn't believable. And I was like, oh, you're just going to out because you've got to make a wish. And I was like, oh, it was such a bad fucking film.
Speaking of Wish, have you guys seen that movie yet?
Nope.
No, I
heard
haven't.
It was all AI generated.
I have not seen it, but I've heard that movie has a lot of controversy with the plot.
Oh, God.
definitely less AI generated than the Marvels. Not offensive. Like I liked it. So I'm just to check. I'm the only one here who's seen it.
Yes.
Yep.
It's not offensively bad. It was better than Raya and the Last Dragon. It was better than Ralph Breaks the Internet, and it was
Oh, I
definitely
call
better than the
BS on that
Marvels.
one.
Which
I
one?
loved Raya. And
I don't
there's someone
know.
in the other room who's watching Star Wars at the moment that would highly contest that.
I don't know. I could not. I can only stomach so much of the Aquafina dragon, whatever her face is. I can't even be bothered to remember. Literally, the whole thing is just a black and white cartoonish. You just gotta trust people, and not a bad message in and of itself, but they make it so cartoonishly simple. It's
Oh,
like
God.
guys, we should just reach out to who who's a horrible
God.
individual on the world stage or in our personal lives. Just name one. Like you ever there's a serial killer loose in the streets right now. Have we thought about just trusting him?
Oh, God.
Just
Stop
reaching
that.
out
Who's like,
like,
who's like
I
Jeff
forgot
Dahmer?
about that one.
hey bro, you want to be friends? Just put come into my house and put the knife down. I trust you.
Oh, no, it's not one of those films, is it?
Over Wish is
Jeff
not one of
Donner.
those films, thankfully.
He'd be a cool person.
It's just like it's like Disney had an assignment due on the day of. They didn't do shit for it, so they went back and copied their own work and changed the wording a bit to avoid plagiarism. But for the most part, it's just the same shit they've done over and over again. And like it's I'm talking like complete copy and paste. Like I mean, the villain. It's without giving too much away. He's kind of sort of the magic mirror. The main character, I think it's Asha, her name is, so boring, by the way. She's like a nothing character. She has 7 friends who are based on the dwarves. They insert Peter
Lord.
Pan in there at one point. And Disney's been cheeky like that before. If you look closely in the background of The Little Mermaid, you can see Donald and Goofy. There's the Scar Pelt and Hercules. But it's cheeky and it's heartfelt. It's not just like, remember this guy? You remember this guy, right? You
Oh,
like
man.
him?
Oh, great.
They do that.
Right.
The
So I haven't seen the movie, and I probably won't see it. But then again, just for the sake of trying to stay up to date with current films, I'll probably watch it just to get it out the way. But from what I can tell, from this particular movie, is that the plot of this movie is based around basically the king. The king in this movie
Yeah.
basically having the power to grant people's wishes
Yeah.
of what they want, and pretty much from what I've read and what I've seen with different clips and stuff, is like I said, he has power to grant people wishes, but he only does it if their wish benefits them or the
Yeah.
kingdom, which makes sense. So he has power to grant wishes, but he's not granting selfish wishes or wishes that don't benefit society as a whole in that particular film, which is cool. I can deal with that. So what kind of throws me off with the clip I've seen is that the princess in this film, whatever her name is, I can care less about her name, Asha, whatever you said her name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from what I can tell, she is kind of like a spoiled brat in my sense. She's a spoiled brat because, and stop that, my cat messing with stuff. She's kind of like a spoiled brat in my opinion, because like she has this ideal that you shouldn't be able to just grant certain wishes just because you feel like it's necessary to grant certain wishes. You should stop. You should be able to grant every single person's wish and stop being selfish with it. You kind of have this selfish childlike mentality because not everyone's wishes are getting granted, because everyone in this film, from my opinion, has a selfish ass wish that's not going to benefit everyone else as a whole. And it kind of gives me, and I'm bringing real life into this, it kind of gives me Gen Z vibes, where you want to be selfish and arrogant, and you just want everything handed to you. You don't want to stop it, Jesus. you like you want to be selfish, you want to be arrogant. You basically want everything handed to you, even if it costs a negative outcome on someone else. So it's kind of giving me Gen Z vibes to where this particular princess in this movie is not the protagonist. She is actually the villain in this movie, and the king is actually the protagonist trying to do the right thing to stop her from basically fucking everything up for everyone because she wants to be selfish.
Mm-hmm. It's cool that it's interesting that you mentioned that, because basically that's kind of the deal. I mean, like, because the Cain and the villain in the movie, Cain Magnifico, that's his name. What he does, he's a sorcerer who people give their wishes to him, and
Right.
with that they also lose their memories of the wishes, and he protects them in a sanctum in his castle, and like he may or may not grant them, and like that's how he keeps people under his thumb. He's sort of like a mass manipulator. He's interesting in that respect.
Right.
He and every once in a while he'll grant a wish, but like it's like you said, he'll only grant it if it's also beneficial to him. Like, I mean, he doesn't want to. I think it's Asha's grandfather. He doesn't want to grant her grandfather's wish because, he just wants to make songs that inspire people. But he's like, will that inspire rebellion against me? How do I know that's not the case? And that's why he withholds it. But
Right.
yeah, eventually what they learn at the end of the movie is, and that's kind of the point he brings, like, I mean, granting everybody's wishes, just granting them could lead to chaos. But as the movie goes on, there's a rebellion in place and they start to get their wishes back. The grandfather first and foremost, and he's like, I don't need the king to grant my wish. I'm going to chase it myself. Whether or not I actually get there, I can't wait. And and to the movie's credit, that is one thing it does well. It teaches a nice lesson to kids. But other than that, like, and the good animation. I like how they blend 2D animation with 3D in there, and the villain's a ton of fun too. The main selling point of the movie was they were bringing back a classic Disney villain, and he's no Scar or Jafar or Ursula. He's definitely no Maleficent, but like he's a really fun bad guy.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, it's copy and paste plot. It's just like they don't even try. It's just another miss on Disney. The company needs to change. Not even the songs are good. I can't think of one. There's not a single song that I enjoyed all the way through in this movie. Not even the villain song.
Well, that was
Like,
AI generated.
They try to
I'm
do
gonna-
go for it, man.
I'm gonna bring up a really, 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 really bad movie that popped up on my radar.
What's that?
I found this guy called John Solo who does the dark history of movies, Disney movies specifically.
All right.
Shai, Philip,
Mm-hmm.
I actually want Song of the South to become
Oh
a new movie again.
no!
What the fuck?
You want what again?
Here's my reasoning.
All right,
Because
I'm listening.
I was listening to the documentary, and here's the reason. It is based off of old tales from black individuals, black Africans.
Uh-oh.
The originality of the lore behind it, something you guys created. The good representation. Do I think it's a bad movie? 100%.
Yep.
100% it's a bad movie. But the stuff it was based on, the dark history behind it, is the good stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see rise up black creators, black stories coming from your hearts and minds.
That Song of the South totally did that, right? Oh, and by the way, guys, my camera isn't frozen. I've ascended to a new plane of existence. I'm so powerful I can blow my words out of my mouth without even having to move it.
It's really cool.
Boom. Shazam. There you go.
Exactly. I like blew Shazam out of my mouth 15 times in the last second. I'm like, I've Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan wishes it could be this, man.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, you said Shazam. You like, damn, this shit still ain't work yet.
I am not resetting my laptop again. This is what you get, guys.
Apparently,
this,
Man's like,
this
nope,
new
it's a snack.
power. Yeah, but
my mic is going crazy.
go-
apparently.
Like, Shazam, goddamn it, work.
going back to
it's-
what you first died. My bad.
But going back to what I was saying, we've talked about how Disney's, just reintroducing everything and not whatnot. And they don't have enough black representation. They don't have enough alphabet soup community representation. Hello, how about just look at what they've done in the past, like Song of the South, take out all the, the racist stuff, strip it clean, and look at the tales that they have told.
Yeah,
And boom, there's some good stuff right there. There's the representation.
have you
Made
guys?
by them.
I can
Speaking
accept
of-
that.
Speaking of Disney's representation, stepping away from Wish for just a second, have you guys seen Peter Pan and Wendy?
I
The
have
movie,
not.
the movie they dropped on Disney Plus this year. So, you remember the whole Native American controversy the original movie had?
Yeah, I think so.
They
I can't
address
remember it in
it.
a while.
They address it in the most beautifully dumb way possible in this film. They make the Native Americans every race but Native American. There's even a white kid in the Native American tribe.
How does that work?
They like, again, like there's one, I think there's one actual Native American in the tribe in the movie, and every other than him, they just go for a multiracial hodgepodge when they're supposed to be Native American.
So it's so weird because I generally think that Disney, like, they're so scared of anyone, like, of everything. Like, I imagine they sit down and like, right, we've got to put Native Americans in this. Like, it'd be, no. Twitter will get us. We're not
Dude.
allowed. Like, that one person, that's going to start something up.
Not the site with the poor name.
I know, right?
We
Like,
can't piss them off.
I think there was a film company or a few people that just went, fuck it, we don't give a shit anymore. If you're gonna badmouth us on Twitter, I mean, what is it gonna do? Effectively, what will it do? Like, you'll get 1,001 tweets for like a couple of weeks, and then it just dies off.
Okay.
Like, it baffles me on so many levels that people allow like Twitter to kind of control the narrative.
Yeah.
Right.
But by the way,
definitely- Okay,
why
yeah.
are you giving so much power to such a shit site and such a shit community? Twitter, I'm gonna throw this out to you, Twitter. Hi, Twitter, Bubby, sweetie, you suck. I don't care if you are left wing or right wing. You have sucked under every leader you've had. You are a shit platform and a toxic community. You represent a tiny portion of humanity. I'm not scared of you. If you want to benefit yourself, go outside, go see the sun. That's what y'all need, to see the sun.
Hashtag
And-
blessed.
And
Hashtag
that's
blessed.
Call
basically-
Captain Planet.
Oh my god, he just told every Twitter X user to go outside and touch grass.
Yeah. It's one of the worst ones because it's when, I mean, sometimes Twitter is good to get attention to if you've had a problem.
Oh yeah, it's good for your brand. I'll give it that.
Well, I find it interesting. Like, if I have a problem, let's say with Amazon or Adobe or something like that, I find like Twitter is the best way to go out there and get attention
Oh,
because
yeah.
people will respond. Like, if I had a really bad time with customer services with Amazon.com, I guarantee within the next couple of hours, notification, sorry about that, how can we help? And that's absolutely fine. But it gets to the point when you get cancelled or people think they got gotcha moment when it's not there, and then all these companies like Marvel and stuff, when they think that the people doing it, so like all the comic books, so again we can reference Nightcrawler and Mystique, that they think that a small amount of people will then go out and buy that comic book and it'll be the biggest one. Like, I know that there was one of the writers for Spider-Man a while ago.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, it was Superman with
Oh
John
yeah,
Cleese.
Superboy. No. It was Gay Superman or something like that.
Yeah, and
Better at that.
And the fact is that, many people like bought 1 or 2 issues, but the guy who wrote it went off on Twitter calling people out, saying that you need to go buy this comic. And I was just like, why? But then all the people that were like all for it probably didn't buy it as well. And it's just like, why aren't you buying this thing? If you're gonna preach, if you're gonna tell me I'm a shit human being for not thing, I want you to go buy that comic book. I want to see it in your hand, on your profile. I want you to be smiling, reading it, and show me, rather than make me feel like I'm a shit person for not reading a story and then ignoring it. Just irritates me so much when companies listen to Twitter, because I think they did a survey and they said like only 10% of all comic book users have Twitter or something like that. And I was just like, man, like not many people give a shit. Why are you pandering to Twitter? No one cares. Oh.
Plus, a lot of the people on there are literal trolls. They are deliberately trying to get people canceled because they enjoy it. They have nothing better to do. You don't want to give people like that too much power.
Yeah. There was kind of switching into YouTube drama. This is what Keemstar, he tweeted out but no, he like, so to give context to the story, Dream has done some shit and everyone's calling him a P word and doing this, and then one person that accused him and then like accused Dream of everything, made it up, and she left they left a voice note going something like, oh, I don't care, I just want to stir up drama, I like drama, I like being in drama, that's all I wanted. And it gets to the point that people on Twitter like take it too far. Now I don't know what Dream's done, but again, people, as soon as like someone came up like, oh, he's definitely a P word, everyone jumped on him. I'm just like, no one does the research.
That wet ass P word.
Yeah. So the fact is, I mean, I don't know if he is or if he isn't, but at the end of the day, no one's brought any like factual evidence, but people on Twitter are trying to cancel him all the time. And it's just like, man, just what's going to happen? Nothing. Just fucking nothing.
Mm-hmm. Cancel culture is nothing anymore. I mean, like if you're any YouTuber can speak to this. All it means is that you are taking a 4-month unpaid vacation.
Yeah.
At the most. Yeah. I think, again, like that's just not a community you want to give too much power to, because like for some people, there's just no pleasing them. And sometimes you really just got to apply the Pareto principle to that. Like, 80-20, 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort, and some customers just can't be pleased. Ditch them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm not calling out Marvel for not having British actors in there. Like, last major British actor was Tom, who played Loki. I'm not
Tom Hiddleston, baby.
That's it. I can remember his surname, but I'm not saying like Marvel, like I need this. I want more British people. I want to see Captain Britain. Where's my Captain Britain movie? Because I don't care. At the end of the day, it's going to come, and or may or may not. But I'm not going to shout out about it. Like, I'm not going to get angry about it. Most of the time, I laugh at people and I comment, and I sometimes take L's on there myself, and I'm happy to do it. But majority of the time, I'm just like, why are people massively complaining?
Yeah.
And that's how I'm looking at the whole Doctor Who crap. And again, with the whole stuff with pronouns. You stick to fine. Stick to they, them, he, her, he, they.
I still think of that. I still think of that one guy who was railing against Starfield just because he was that pissed about the pronouns. Fucking pronouns!
Yeah, that was quite funny. I mean, I think
Asmongold, I believe it was.
No, it wasn't Asmongold. It was
some other guy.
Yeah,
basically bald.
Yeah, I know who it is, but I know who it is, but I just can't remember the name. I think like with the pronouns and why people see, I think that it's from a storytelling point of view that it's more like you're in the zone. Like when you watch these shows, like when you watch Doctor Who, you're invested in it, and it's when a line gets said and it takes you out, and you're like, oh, hang on a minute, and it's just that one line where I think that if they did change it, like I said earlier, rather than having Rose turn around and going like, "Did you just assume that his pronouns or their pronouns?" He's like, "Oh, sorry, they, there, they, what are you? He, she, they." It would be more kind of like if the doctor said, "Oh, so Tommy, are you a he or whatever?" And the meep would be like, "No, I am the meep. I am not he nor she or they. I am the meep." That would have been better rather than having one person shout fucking pronouns. It's like, okay, because it then makes the doctor look like a massive bellend when he's not.
Yeah.
So, but I think it just took you out, and then obviously they did some other stuff in the show which I wasn't a big happy fan of. But at least it's still better than what we've had with Jodie and Peter Capaldi.
Yeah,
and of course, with this Gen Z stuff too, did you just assume their race?
Yeah, it's. I think
Like,
you can still do all of this. You can still put it in and make it part of the story rather than take people out of it. I think that's the main difference from it. But then people are, on the other side, people are sick about it. Some people love it. It's going to always be a 50-50, and it's just how you tell this in a story.
I just got to put this in here. This doesn't just apply to Twitter. This is social media in general. A lot of what you see on there is not reflective of the real world. You've got a lot of people on there raising shit about, what we just talked about, assuming race, assuming gender, and that is going to happen. And I get why we kind of need to move beyond that shit. I can count the number of times that has become a problem for me in real life on no hands at all. Not once. That's just, what happens on social media and the internet, it often isn't reflective of real life. You've got a lot of very vocal extremists on there. You've got a lot of people who are deliberately trying to stir up trouble. For the most part, in the real world, that's just not really something that is going to affect you. You are talking about these, people who are really that reactionary about that. You are talking about extremists and deliberate trolls who, at the end of the day, really are just kind of a minority of a minority. So you really shouldn't be worried about that. As companies, as people, we really shouldn't let them scare us.
Yeah, I think like 9 out of 10 times, those sorts of people aren't going to buy from your, they're not going to consume your media, buy your product, have your services, because they either have no intention, they just want to stir up trouble, like you said.
Yeah.
And it gets really frustrating when big companies that are making Doctor Who, Marvel, DC, your normal TV shows that get so much flack for all of this, because they think that those maybe 10% are going to go out and watch and consume, when you've got to look at your other 90% and go, we got to make interesting stories. Look at how Disney with Bob Iger recently came out, where they said we need to move past promoting this message to make good stories. And it's like, yes, finally make these stories. Don't just be like, what message can we put down today? And majority from what I've seen is always, you're a shit person, you are shitty, you shouldn't be thinking this, go fuck yourself. You're like, cool, thanks guys.
And again, just going back to the larger deal that is good storytelling, think of it this way: which stories last longer, the ones that preach to you and throw out answer after answer after answer, or the ones that acknowledge that people can think for themselves, that try to get people to think for themselves and ask questions that continue the conversation on? That's how you make stories that reach on into eternity, baby.
And again, that whole thing with Song of the South, if you strip away the stuff that's going to people are going to be triggered regardless. But you need to look at it from some perspective of, well, do you want to be cliched? Or do you want to see something very unique and something that has been heart and soul?
You ain't getting that. You ain't getting that with Wish. Yeah, they.
But, Philip, Shai, you guys got to chime in on that a little bit, because you two are Black creators. We don't have Darrell here. Apparently, you decided to drink on us. He's hungover.
He's probably busy with work right now.
Nah, he was in the thing.
Oh no, he posted.
What? Hold up. What am I missing here?
Go
to
to
the
Go
chat.
check the chat.
Oh, God.
Go check the
Oh,
chat.
God.
Chat, you see.
What did you do, Ray?
But what the whole Song of the South thing, like
Oh shit. Okay.
I
Catch your
think
rest, catch your rest, Darrell. We love you.
right, right. But with the Song of the South thing, like you said before, if you take the racist aspect out of it, and just put the cultural aspects into it, more the cultural aspect of the Black community, the African community, then you have a movie that's more better in my opinion. So I'm with that. It's the fact that I don't want that movie to be remade ever. So
Well,
that's just me.
I'm saying
I heard
If
rumors that
it's
they are
still-
planning to remake it.
I wouldn't be surprised. But if they do it with the love and care of the community, of the Black community, again, rip it from its origins and just do the stories.
Right.
I mean, it's all politics, though.
And-
That's all it is. It's all
But
politics.
Yeah, and the thing
Yeah.
is, there's only so much I can say about this from a white guy's perspective, but like you've also got to whether you touch that movie ever again, whether you make a remake or not, you got to keep it alive. You got to keep it out there because that's how we learn. We look at that and we're like, okay, this was wrong. We need this around for a reason to learn from this and do better.
Right. Like while on like a personal note, I don't me myself, I don't fully well of course, being a person of Black minority, I don't care about anything that has to do with like racist aspects or anything like that. But because everything was built on the foundation of racist, that is technically a part of human history, so you need it. But because society is the way it is now, everyone's trying to be real sensitive and woke and friendly and stuff, and trying to basically rewrite history.
Whatever that word
Like-
even means anymore.
I don't even know. I don't even know. But because society is the way it is, they want to cut what made history. So they're trying to cut all the racist aspects of history out and just make everything all happy, friendly, sunshine and rainbows and BS and all that crap. Why I don't like the racist aspect of history is it is a part of human history, so we do need it. So it is what it is.
We gotta, but at the end of the day, we gotta learn from it. We can't pretend that we've always been this wholesome, perfect little thing. We're the human race. Name one thing more flawed than us. We'll wait.
A divide and conquer thing, man. It's all politics, like I said.
Right.
Yeah.
It's either you gonna go by it or not, but you got no choice to go by it anyway.
Right.
Only way
Yeah.
you gonna get that is just backlash, like we
Yeah.
always do. That's all. I think that's the only thing that's gonna work on that type thing. So
Yeah.
it depends
right.
on the people. It depends how you gonna take it and how else the other people gonna take it.
Yeah.
That's like any other movies like DC and all that shit.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Yeah. Going back to Wish real quick though, I mean, like, not even the songs were good. They have like this one song where all the animals start talking because of a wish made on a wishing star. It's like Coco Melon attempting a rap.
Oh God,
Yeah.
no.
And the villain song has its moments, like it's fun, and there's actually this like really good bit at the end, like he's having like representation of the citizens of his kingdom who aren't giving his ego a good enough rub, and like toward the end of it, he starts literally stomping on them as they're fleeing, and that shit's good. But
damn.
like for the most part, it's just not menacing enough. They try to go for these slant rhymes that don't even rhyme. Like, let me just read a few of these lyrics to you. Peep the name, I'm magnificent. I put the I in omnipotent. Here's another one. Are you sure that you're not the prob? And my personal favorite, I let you live here for free and I don't even charge you rent. That's what letting you live here for free means, you redundant dumbass. Where's Lin-Manuel Miranda when you need him? He gave you banners in Moana. He gave you banners in Encanto, and instead you bring some guy. And like the people they got for the music are actually really talented, but they need someone with a musical theater background. And the people who made these songs, they've written songs for like I think Justin Bieber, Haley Steinfeld. Again, not bad, but you need a musical theater background if you're going to do a musical theater movie. Man, it's more. Disney's still missing, but if we want to get optimistic a little, what do you guys think about the future of Disney?
It's gonna be dead.
Yeah,
Bad
ending.
I have no hope.
R.I.P.
If the ending, if we get the bad ending in this RPG, definitely gonna die. I mean, yeah, Disney is just. I don't hate. Okay, as a company, Disney deserves every criticism it gets. As far as Disney as a pure creator goes, I don't hate them. I can think of two works they did recently that I straight up love. Encanto, loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Once Upon a Studio, loved it. And I think what's going on right now is they are in a particularly bad, particularly long creative rut. But every time they've been like this, they've had to think outside the box, and that's when we've gotten a lot of their better stuff. It's how we got The Little Mermaid. It's how we got Pixar. It's how we got Frozen. And I know a lot of people are just done with Frozen by this point, but as annoying as their fan base gets, there's a reason their fan base is as big as it is. So, I think the good ending, we get something good from Disney if they have to think outside of the box, because that's what's happened before.
I think for me personally, I think it's what made Disney so good over the years has always been the storytelling. And I feel now that everyone has to put a message in everything. And I think that's what's really like dragging it down. When you see like families, like let's get rid of all like, let's get rid of other people rather than families for a moment. Families are the ones that pretty much want to keep Disney alive. So when they see like certain messages being told, like, oh, you have to do this, or you're a bad person if you don't like X, Y, or Z, I think that puts families off, going like, I don't want my small child watching this. I don't want them interacting with Disney. And that starts pulling back for how much money is spent in the cinema, because that one Disney film they may go off and watch and be like, shit, let's go watch this instead. And that brings up a lot of like questions. And I think from a message point of view, Disney needs to stop literally trying to put a message of like, you are a shit person if you don't do this, because those messages may not align with everyone, or they may not align with other people. So if it's like, if you don't butter your toast, then you are this. It's like, well, what happens if I don't like butter? What happens if I'm allergic to butter? What happens if I can't process butter? What does that make me? The worst person in the entire world? Oh my God. And if Disney doesn't kind of do this, even with all the films like Marvel as well, if they don't stop pushing this agenda at times, you're going to lose all this audience. So I see them disappearing. And the only thing, you've also got their parks as well, because everyone's saying like, oh, look at the media side. What about the parks? When you have like Universal, you have Disneyland, Universal and Super Mario World opening up in America. Where's Disney? Like last time, I remember back in 1997, I think, I got this tape, and it was like how to booking your time at Disney World in Florida, or Disneyland, whatever it's called. And literally, the guy on the end of the tape goes,
Disney
"If you're
World.
thinking, is it Disney World?" The guy at the end of the video goes, "If you're thinking about coming back here in 10 years, don't worry, nothing's going to change." And I was like, how can a company not change their parks to add in more rides or to make something different? I mean, look at Tron. They're just opening a Tron ride. Who the fuck remembers Tron? Like, when was the last time Tron was a thing?
Bring back Tron Uprising.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta look at Splash Mountain.
Well, that was changed because, again, pushback and stuff. Like, when I went on that ride, I never instantly thought of, this is racist, this is the worst thing in the world. it was going up and then going down. That was it. And then they got rid of it. But again, it depends on what people are. But I think that you need to, Disney needs to do it, because if the media center drops, park prices are going to go up. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to pay $200 to walk around, stand in line, and go on 3 rides, and then be like, and time's closing. Shit, I've been here since 9 a.m. It's now like 11 o'clock, and I've only been on 3 rides. I think they need to sort a lot of stuff out. Otherwise, I don't see them like being around in, like, say, 10 years time. It'll just literally go.
See, and that's why I'd rather go to Legoland. It's much better.
Yeah.
Disney World's still great. I need to go back there. I really need to go back there. I still do Tower of Terror any day.
That was a good ride.
Oh yeah, still is, still there. They haven't taken a lot of their better stuff. They still got it there. I'm not gonna give them all of my money, but yeah.
15.
Yeah, I was a child when I was at Disney World, man. I need to go back. I need to go back to Legoland too, though. I need to go. Oh my God. Well, I'll do it myself. I don't care. Someone's got to make the Bionicle store a reality, man.
Yeah, we definitely got to bring that back.
Yeah.
I just think
I mean, we're getting the Massive Power game next year, and it looks fucking great.
There's got to be a Kickstarter for that.
I think there is. They got a Discord for it.
Add me later.
Yeah.
So
Add me later. There you go.
Yeah. So what's the next topic then, boys and girls?
I'm pretty sure we covered it last week, but shoot, like I just got through watching both Power Rangers Dark Unity and the Psycho Menace.
Yes.
We rushed
good
on
Lord.
them.
Yeah. They are both great. They are both doing Power Rangers better than Power Rangers is doing right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I lay on that part.
I will say it's definitely better than Power Rangers because they're doing it.
Yeah.
I will say there were a few things in that film that I went could have been better, but yeah, I have a full review coming out on that one. But
so do I.
Yeah, but I do think Unworthy have done really good things. I do agree with Darrell when he says like there's no story in it. It's just a very big versus match, and that's it. Which I'm hoping that they work on.
Yeah, that's kind of a double-edged sword because on one hand, I feel like there could be a little more plot, but I feel like they put the basic amount of plot in there, and I feel myself emotionally connecting with the characters. Super Sentai and Power Rangers were always about action. I mean, Power Rangers, they were literally like, okay, we're going to take the fights from Sentai and put some story in between. And I feel like Unworthy sort of brings it back to it brings Power Rangers back to its roots. I feel like that's a big part of why it works. The plot is there as an excuse for the action. And as long as they make you connect with the characters enough and they have good action and good effects and just great spectacle, they've got it. They've got those things. I feel like it does its job really well at that too.
I agree.
Now with Psycho Menace, and I'm just gonna throw this out there, Chris, amazing job with the Morph Master part. Amazing job with that.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, but with Psycho Menace
that was
itself,
you?
Yeah, that was me. I was the Morph Master. Yeah,
that was it. Yeah. Couldn't tell until I actually.
Thank you.
I couldn't tell it was him until I looked at the credits and his name popped up with the title. I was like,
I could tell.
Yeah, yeah, but with Psycho Menace itself, like, while the episode or short film, whatever you want to call it, was good, I feel like they kind of crammed a lot into it within that short time span they had it out for, as far as like the story goes and the plot goes, because you kind of had like 3 different stories kind of packed into one with with the Psycho Rangers, the Psycho Empress,
The
the
Psycho
Red Space
Empress,
Ranger,
man.
yeah,
I gotta look up
and
the name of
my bad.
the Psycho Empress. Was a show stealer. She was
You know,
so
Yeah,
cool.
I think it was astronomer.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mad
that
props,
was
by the way, to Eleni Llanos. She was the suit actress for the Psycho Empress. I got to meet her at the premiere. Absolutely lovely person, very humble, very hardworking, and so talented. She just like she sells the confidence and the power, but also like the inner turmoil of the character with just her motions. She does you, Eleni, if you're watching this, you did such a magnificent job. Seriously.
See,
right.
I generally think she was she and was it the gold Psycho Ranger or the yellow Psycho?
Yeah, it was gold and it was
He
the
was
orange
good.
one.
Yeah.
That was
and
gold,
orange.
gold, red, and green.
Yeah.
Oh, it was red. I thought it was orange. Damn.
Good old Louis Latin nerd cosplayer and Combat the Grids DPCX.
Yep.
So I like those two in it because it did sell it. I think for me personally, like after Drill said there was no story to it, like it does get to the point of why are things happening? Like
Right.
I think that you could have like had a voiceover, like you could have done, like you're obviously the Morphing Master. You could have said like in world blah blah blah, this is what happened where the Mighty Morphing team failed. Andros and Zane are the only ones. And then when it cuts to the ship as well, it's like giving a thing of like there has been a new group of Rangers that the Psychos want to take out before they have been established. And then that at least you set a bare bones story of why they're doing it. Also, were you just doing the voice? You weren't on set or anything at all? Or...
I was not on set. That's probably going to change soon, though, because Jordan and Unworthy Productions in general, they want to do more stuff beyond just Unworthy. They want to do their own original content. And yeah, I'm not too far from New York, so I'm definitely going to be getting in on that.
What I would one thing I want you to recommend them, because again, coming from me might not mean fuck all, but you need to have someone on set for continuity issues. One thing that wound me the fuck up and it really annoyed me is when you see Psycho Red and he's like, oh my god, look at this, and that's fine, but his helmet was coming apart. And I think that if you're
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, like if you look at all his scenes, you can see his helmet's like it's not sealed.
Helmet.
It's really irritating because you should have someone on set watching, and someone should have picked it up and gone, right, cut. There we go. So
Right.
So either the parts of the helmet were damaged, like the keys, and that's what's not keeping it apart, or literally they don't have something that keeps the helmet together. It's really frustrating, and it's some parts you see it completely like almost not open, but you can see it, and then some parts it's closed, and then some parts it's open. There should be someone on there going, right, we need to stop, clip that together, and then continue, and then just keep watching for continuity.
I'll have to go back and watch out for that. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Go to the beginning when they did all the invasion shit. You see when he was talking side by side. Just look right here. It's on this part.
Yeah, shout out to Patrick David, by the way, the original voice actor for Psycho Red. So good to have you back, man.
Oh, was that the original actor?
That was the original actor, yeah.
Oh, done.
Same
I didn't know that.
Chris came
Oh,
back
shit. For real?
Yeah, Christopher Kamen Lee. And also, I forgot to say this earlier, but Autumn Ivy, your vocal performance as Psycho Empress, magnificent. Great job.
Really like that. Yeah, I thought like she really added to it, and she nailed Astronomer's voice absolutely perfect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that definitely captured that crazy essence.
Yeah, I feel like Astronema is honestly probably one of the better characters overall we got from Power Rangers. It was cool seeing her back. It was cool seeing her like take the next evolution. I mean, like, Astronema was always kind of like Darth Vader in a lot of ways, and this is Darth Vader if he became the Emperor.
Yes, there you go. Thank you.
Okay.
Now you see it, you won't be able to unsee it.
Right. Okay, I see it now.
And I'm kind of biased because, I mean, we've established this before. I'm not as like, I'm not a Power Rangers fan. I love Power Rangers. I'm not as well versed in it as I'm not as close to it as a lot of people I know are. I'm not as familiar with it as a lot of people are. Oh God, I see it.
Yeah, like
I see it.
It's those
Right.
things that annoy me a lot when it comes to it, because even though it's a really good story and it shows quite a lot, the fact is that is on there, and it just shows that no one out of how many people, like if they had like 5-6 people do it, no one picked up and no one was watching, and that irritates me just a little bit. That's why you have someone on set for continuity issues and stuff like that. So it makes things a lot easier.
Psycho Gold kept giving him a noogie between takes.
Yeah. Like I think the one thing that threw me off story wise, like I said before, is that it was so many plot points coming together within it. So it's one point where Andros's character, invades the ship and is taking out the drones and the bots and everything.
That was cool.
And he confronts Psycho Red and he drops the Psycho chips or the Psycho cards or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so he ended up killing the other psychos, but how did he kill the other psychos? That's kind of an open plot hole where that's not really explained. You just know he took them out, but you don't know how.
I kind of wish we got the other psychos in there, but like, I mean, Red was always, at least like, I mean, because they're working on limited time and limited resources, so they gotta decide who all have we got to get in here. Like, we gotta pick and choose. We gotta keep it kind of small. Red was probably the better. He was probably the better Psycho Ranger out of all of them, and on top of that, you got in a new one, Psycho Gold. He's a new character. He was really cool. Again, if we're shouting out actors, C.G. Hyman is Psycho Gold, who actually beat me out for the role in the audition. Mad props to him. He was amazing. And Psycho Empress, I've been singing her praises already. So, like, they bring back the best one and they add 2 new characters who add to the faction too. I think they did, when they got to do the best they can with what they have, I feel like they did I feel like they made the best choices they could have under those circumstances.
Oh, definitely.
Right. I get that, like, and they've done well for what they've done, and I think like now with modern technology, like with Premiere or After Effects, like you could have you only got 3 psychos, so you could have had like color correction. You could change red to pink, because again, like all the suits are exactly the same. There's no differences in helmets or armor or anything like that. So you could have had that one thing of him going like, I took down pink, I took down blue, now I'm going to take down you. And then you could have shown like a very small clip really quickly of like how he's done it to kind of add more to this. And I think, but for what it is good. I think the last one, my last thing that really annoys me, is if you go to the end of the film and you see Corone against Arbitra, and then the camera pans around and you don't see where Andros is. And then
he went through the portal.
Did he go through the? Yeah, I thought he went through the portal, but he doesn't, because I thought he would have gone like, oh shit, grabs like Psycho, brings her, like drags her in, and then that would have been a thing. But he doesn't go through the portal because he just comes out from the side for no apparent reason. But when the camera shows the area, it's like he's not there, and I'm just like, what? Where does he come from?
I thought he ran off, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I thought, which would have made sense, because then it could have been like the destruction of Corone, and then that would be, I don't know, oh, she would have been really cool in the second one. But then obviously he just comes out of nowhere, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Where did he come from?
Right.
Yeah, but
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, these are little criticisms, and I always think that they hate me because I pull these things up because I see other people's reactions, and they're like, oh man, it's amazing, and me, it's going, that needs to be changed. That needs to be changed. And I instantly think they fucking hate me. But it's just little nitpicky things I see that hopefully can be made better in the next one. And I've had them turn around and say, that's actually a good thing. Thanks. We didn't recognize that. I'm like, that's what Mark's here for.
I mean, as long as you're not, trashing the whole thing itself, you're good. You're just pointing out little inconsistencies here and there with different scenes and stuff. So it's not really is not really talking bad about it. Like you said, you're just picking out little points that don't make sense. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is good, but this is off. So, when you do this again in the next one, just fix this little thing so, it doesn't happen again. That's it.
Yeah.
But again, like if it's little things that we're going after, and they did a good job, and they did such a great job with the big picture, I honestly can't complain.
Right.
Don't. This is me being authentic, but I also don't want Jordan to fire me. So
I think
Jordan, I liked it. Don't fire me.
I mean,
I loved it, actually. It's actually, like, genuinely, again, I wouldn't lie. I don't do that shit. Really good. Really great job to everybody all around. Eric and Kayvon wait, am I getting your name? Javon, sorry. Eric and Javon killed it with the action. The score was incredible too. Oh my God, the score in that movie.
Right. It was good.
Yeah, it's good. I think it does a lot better. Like for most fan films and stuff, like it is like one of the best. I see them as top tier. I always have.
Oh yeah.
And that I think that's absolutely perfect. I just think that, as Darrell said, like they need to add in story. Like it wouldn't take too much to add in like voiceover lines to kind of narrate that, even if it was bare bones. Like maybe if they keep you, well, they will keep you, by the way, not if they will keep you as the Morphing Master, that you could put your voice to it and say, on the next one, like this story is about how Kimberly and Jason went off and banged. And it's just like you narrate everything that's going on. It just gives a little bit more to it rather than action.
If that came at the cost of less action and less of Mark Cooper and Ray Cazares's score during that action, do you think that'd be a worthy trade?
I don't mind less action because I want to know what's happening. I want to know what's going on with this story, not just Andros. Because obviously we've seen Final Fantasy. Andros turns up and kicks the shit out of everyone. Why is he going there? Like, did he get a tip off? Why is he going to that space station? Why are those other rangers there? These are the questions, rather than me walking away going, well, I don't understand that. It makes me feel bad. But if you narrated it, I'd rather have that little thing of like, Andros is going because he got wind Psycho Empress is going towards the new facility for the Rangers. There you go. That's all you don't have to give it too much time, but just enough. You could easily have said, like, when you with your lines, added that in when like things come along, carry it on a little bit. That's all I want. I just want to know what's going on.
Right. Like, what's that one character from Marvel's What If? He's like the narrator.
The Watcher, yeah. He was the Morphing Master was actually based partially off of the Watcher in this context.
I kind of got one. So that sort of thing I think would have worked perfectly. And again, if they keep you doing this, that's literally what it should be. Like, at least tell the audience rather than like the fans going like, oh my God, action's amazing. Some people want story. I want to know what's going on. Which universe is this?
I'm wanting a little of both. That was my gripe.
Do you think I mean, I'm saying this as somebody who, again, isn't as intimate with Power Rangers as you guys are. Looking at Power Rangers, looking at the audience, do you think there's more of a care for the action or the story? What's the main reason people come to Power Rangers?
It's more so that oh Lord, it's more so the action, in my opinion, than the story.
Yeah,
I think
you gotta. That's what they're thinking too. You got, and again, with such limited time, with such limited resources, they got to pick one and go full throttle and throw the other in when they can.
Yeah.
Right.
From also a point of view, how many times like have you watched a film or you've watched anime, TV or whatever, and then something doesn't make sense? Like it brings you out of that immersion. Like the main weird thing with voiceover and stuff, you can add that little thing extra that you could have full on straightaway action all the time, but if you're not telling people the basic of the story, then they're just going to be like, okay, what's going on? And then that can affect the next one. So, we know about the Arbiter. So we know that, he's got his own storyline that we can go and watch that. So you don't need to obviously tell everything that's going on, but you can have that thing where the music's going on, as the space battle's going on. That's perfect time to have a little bit of action. A little bit of the voiceover. I mean, also think about this. Could you imagine if you watched Beast Morphers where Austin comes back, but no one says anything? He just turns up, and you're like, how did he get back? How did he get there? And they just don't acknowledge it. And it's just like, you kind of want that extra, that to be like, I need this. I need to know what's going on. Because I generally thought the way that they use clips of from Power Rangers in space, it looked like that was now set in that universe, and that was a bit off-putting as well. So
right.
It's those sorts of things, like on Earth 682. Okay, so that's the unworthy universe. Things changed at the end of this, where Corone turns around and becomes the Psycho Empress. Cool, that's all I need to know. It's a different universe. It's a different story. It's a what if. I think that's added to it. Just makes things just tiny bit extra.
Right.
But then you don't have to sacrifice the action at all. Just literally another line of dialogue. That's literally it.
Yeah, I think another important question to ask, considering, like, again, the bigger context of Power Rangers, do you think it does a good job bringing the franchise forward? Because, like, I mean, myself and a lot of other people, and I'm sure you guys have this problem with Power Rangers, it does not grow up. The last true season where they took risk was kind of sort of Cosmic Knights. If they had more time, they could have done that. You could tell they wanted to. They went all in on that with RPM. The villain literally starts his career with destroying 99% of humanity. And they just went all the way back to tee-hee, kitty, kitty, look at these orcs the Power Rangers are fighting. Tee-hee, oh, look, they say they're evil on their business card. You got to go forward from that. And with Unworthy, do you feel like they do that?
So, yes, I do feel like they
move
forward. But the problem is, when you're comparing it to Power Rangers, RPM was the last one in the series, but it still told you at the very beginning, it gave you the backstory of what's going on. With Samurai and all that, yeah, it fucked up massively. But that's, you've also got to take into consideration of Nickelodeon. So Nickelodeon may turn around and say, we don't want anything like RPM. We don't want anything like that. And we have to have these sets of rules. Move forward to Beast Morphers, and I felt like that's how the franchise was meant to be back at Samurai, continuing on the legacy of RPM. Even like say, all the Disney era was meant to be darker. Dino Thunder was it was a darker series according to the visual book that they've got. Beast Morphers, Dino Fury, and Cosmic Fury, they all started changing the narrative of the story. Rather than the tee-hee type moment, you actually got kind of, we're now going to link it to this universe, and this universe, where they're going to tell the stories that are meant to have it. But because they were still on Nickelodeon, they were held back with, oh my God, fart jokes. Got to have a bit more fart jokes, babies. But when you looked at like the second part of Dino Fury and then all Cosmic Fury,
they had fart
changed.
jokes in a Power Ranger season.
Yeah, it was fucking wank as shit. It was like, yeah.
I don't remember that.
What?
So if you go,
I don't remember that.
Try and watch Ninja Steel. It's the worst It's one of the worst series of Power Rangers, where it was literally.
That's a shame. They got an awesome opening.
Yeah, but literally Victor and Monty were all like, Victor, I've just done a fart in my pants, and it's just like no one gives a shit. Or there'd be like a really tense moment, and it would be like, Victor, my tummy hurts. You're like, fucking hell.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the season with Daishi as the villain, right?
No, that's Jungle Fury.
That's Jungle Fury.
Ninja Steel.
Okay.
Ninja Steel.
Ninja Steel didn't even have him going for them. God damn it.
Well, yeah, it's only because Saban and Nickelodeon said that you had to have these sorts of jokes in. So
oh my God, fucking Nickelodeon.
Yeah. So obviously Power Rangers does mature, because if you look at, say, Mighty Morphing on the way up to RPM, it does get more and more kind of darker, more sinister in some sort of way. But it's because of either Nickelodeon and Saban wanting to capture what happened in the 90s, and then all of a sudden making it shit. But then when you watch Beast Morphers to Cosmic Fury, and especially season 2 of Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury, you can tell that Saban didn't have his fingers in those pies, and it changes the whole shift of tone.
Saban didn't finger anybody this time.
Yeah. So seeing Unworthy again is really, really good for what they do. And I do like what they're doing, and I think they are one of the top people for making that sort of content. It's the content that we all want. There just has to be a few little changes to make it go, this is how Power Rangers should be. This is what it should be. These are the guys to do it. But they just need that little bit of a push. But everything that they've done, I would say, is spot on.
Oh yeah,
apart from that psycho helmet.
And on top of that, like, you have them getting darker, like especially with the Arbiter. I think whatever anyone thinks of Unworthy, most people can agree the Arbiter is a good villain. Yeah. Not only is he a badass with a cool design and a great performance, who like you make him believe like the guy is a Terminator type 1 army, but he asks the question of, like, the whole series asks the question, what do you do with the Power Rangers when being worthy requires more than just being chosen? Because we see Power Rangers go bad all the time. So it asks the question of what is it that makes a Power Ranger worthy, and what do you do when they're unworthy? Do you take it upon yourself to raise everything to the ground with no real plan to start up over again like the Arbiter does? That's the easy path. That's the easy way you can do that, and it comes but you alternatively you have Power Rangers who, these characters are brought low, dude. They lose their loved ones, they lose their friends, they are forced into hiding, and they have to ally with mutual enemies to take them down and to take this guy down. And that's at the end of the day what makes a Power Ranger. That's what makes a Power Ranger worthy, is the ability to get back the fuck up, man.
I think I like what they're doing with the Arbiter, but I also kind of think he's too overpowered. Like, I can see why he's going to choose, you're not worthy. I just like to see him go up to a ranger and go, you're actually worthy. But it just feels like no matter what in his eyes, that everyone is not worthy so far.
I feel that, like, what constitutes unworthy in his mind?
Yeah, like that. I think this is like maybe for the next one or the one after, whatever. You have to kind of start writing to the point of why do these characters, what makes them worthy? But then how does this work? Because so far all I know is he's wailing on everybody. But I also don't like the fact that he's wailing on everybody, because there has to be some pushback. It just makes them go like, you've made this OP thing. It's like, it reminds me of an anime, and I fucking hate this anime. And it's called In Another World with My Smartphone. And no matter, it's a horrible. It's an interesting concept, but the main character is OP. When they turn around and say like, oh yeah, one person's been able to use magic, and suddenly I can use all thousands of these things. I can summon the legendary beasts. I can do this. I can make all of this, all because God's on his side. There is no pushback. Or another one, which is, didn't you know my name is Goromoto or whatever, where that anime actually angered me, because no matter what happened to him, you could literally pull a bullet and like pull a gun, shoot him in the head, and the bullet would just disintegrate, because he was so lucky. It's a horrible anime, because there's nothing to bring this character down, and I don't want that to happen to the Arbiter. I want to see someone go, let's beat him, and go, and now I'll come back, and then build that suspense. Otherwise, you've just got an OP character that when you watch him go, he's just going to wail on them, and he's just going to kill them.
Right.
Cool.
Like I don't know Jordan's plans for the series going forward, but I'm assuming just as a fan of his work, outside looking in, I assume that he's going to build it up to the point where he's going to have this one ultimate, ranger that's going to be like the ranger above all other rangers to actually be able to go toe to toe with the Arbiter and end up snapping him back to his senses, and if not snapping him back to his senses, maybe like being able to banish him to like within like a pocket dimension in the grid or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think before I sound too much like I think Unworthy's perfect, I think Unworthy is great. Like I'm not trying to say it's this flawless and they do no wrong kind of thing. But like I mean, I feel what makes the Arbiter work as an invincible villain is like they still survive against him. Like it comes at a cost whenever they face him, but they don't always die. They just realize, okay, this guy we got to do something different about this guy because we cannot. If we fight him again like that, it's over. I feel like that being said, though, I feel like the Arbiter I feel like if they ever did something with Power Rangers again, I feel like Jordan should experiment with the idea of making the Arbiter a sort of wild card type character. Like he can go up against any faction and decide that they're unworthy or not. Like he can go up against anybody, because that's kind of I feel like Jordan would agree with me if I said this. One of his inspirations for the character was the Terminator, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, he went good in Judgment Day, and we got to see a whole other side to the character. And I feel like, and Jordan, I'm sure they could pull this off beautifully. I feel like if they want to go to the next step with the Arbiter after he's the big bad of Unworthy, that would be a good next step to take with him.
Yeah, I think I agree. I'm trying to think it up because we know we're going to wrap this up. I like Unworthy stuff. Don't get me wrong. I don't diss them. I think that they are still one of the best like people to make fan films. I just think that whatever the story is needs to add in like the Arbiter turning good, turning on the side, or what I can probably see happening is that all these people, like all the Rangers that he's met that still have run away, it's going to turn into an end game thing, and they're all going to turn up, and then it's all going to be them versus the Arbiter.
Right.
Which I think is a cool thing. I just think it just you need to show the Arbiter actually having a weakness. Otherwise, you've got an OP character. But again, I think we'll see what happens. I'm excited for the next project. I'm always excited for seeing it, and I'm always auditioning for their stuff. But,
right.
Yeah.
Now, going back to Chris's question with what makes a Ranger worthy, you could put that same question into Dark Unity. What makes the Green
Nice
Ranger
transition there.
Yeah, thank you. Because it actually fits like what makes the Green Ranger in that first episode of Dark Unity actually worthy to be a Ranger still. And if you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched it, go on YouTube, look it up, watch it. Amazing. But because like that particular character, his name is Thomas Oliver, not Tommy Oliver. Thomas Oliver. Yeah. So I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody that hasn't watched it yet, but pretty much he's going through a whole psychological trauma that has like pretty much rocked his foundation to the very core, and he's struggling to keep his sanity while trying to maintain his humanity and still be the good Green Ranger that everyone knows and loves, and not revert back to what he was before. So would he be considered worthy of keeping his powers or not?
I would love to see that kind of interaction between the Arbiter and Tomas, hypothetically, actually. But going to Dark Unity, which I also think it's great. I love the risks that they take, going psychological thriller with a Power Rangers thing. That's really taking a risk there, and I feel like they pull it off. I feel like the plot they have is really good. They leave enough intrigue and questions around certain characters to get us interested in the next episode, and I do kind of wish there was more action, but again, this is part one of a two-parter and one part of a series, and it does its job in making, personally, just me, like making me excited for what's to come, not just because I'm in part 2 of episode 1, heyo, but it's really cool to see the most, like, again, to me, the best character in the series go through an internal struggle, be brought back to the demons of his past that are coming for him. It does feel more like a Tommy Oliver story than a Power Rangers story, but again, Tommy's my favorite character. I'm cool with that. And I feel like Elias does such a great job playing him and portraying everything that goes into this character, like the remnants of the hero, the guy trying to find hope, but just going through hell inside his mind, trying to reconcile with his past. And they take it in a very different direction from anything Power Rangers has done in a very long time. And they do it so well. I love it.
Yeah. It was a good step forward in a different direction of how you can throw something new in a Power Rangers and not lose a beat. Like
Oh yeah,
stuff like that of what Elijah is doing in this particular series is the stuff that I've always wanted Power Rangers to progress and grow into more of a, like we said with Unworthy, more of a darker tone to it, with the aspects of what Dark Unity is thrown into it with the psychological horror trauma with it. It makes sense, it works, and I'm like, I can actually watch this. If this was legitly picked up by like Hollywood or something like this, and they made it into a whole live action matured thing, I will watch it hands down. I would not care.
Yeah, I do feel again, I really want more of that. I really want to see where they go with that. And I think it's more of a Tommy Oliver story, but again, I'm cool with that. Sometimes I feel like I like Tommy better than the Power Rangers, so I'm cool with that.
Yeah. But and one more thing before we wrap this up. Shout out to the girl that played Rita. Amazing job.
I need to double check
amazing.
I haven't talked with her in forever. But she honestly stole that scene. Seriously. She's so good as Rita. She's genuinely, if y'all thought Rita Repulsa couldn't be menacing, check this out, man.
menacing my ass. She was the funniest thing in that episode. Just
her hands coming up to grip the guy's shoulders, like I felt like it was a horror movie invasion.
Right.
It's like we're a horror movie now, guys.
It works though. It works.
It works. Like, I mean, she's funny. You buy that this is Rita, but at the same time, this is dangerous Rita. This is the one from the comics who straight up conquered and subjugated, man. Chandra Akrablam, man. Mad props, amazing.
Yeah, she does an amazing job. You can feel that she's threatening, but still keeping to the kookiness that was the show.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I honestly feel like Dark Unity and Unworthy, I know we got to wrap this up real quick soon, so I'll keep it quick. They complement each other really well. If you want plot, you can go to Dark Unity. If you want more action, you can go to Psycho Menace. But I feel like both projects together are proof that we've got something to look forward to with these fan creations. Something good is coming out of this, and like we are getting Power Rangers in new, innovative ways that Hasbro is just too chicken shit to go near right now. And it's just what anybody who wants something new with Power Rangers, whatever it is you want, you're gonna get it. New things are coming, and I'm excited for it. And that's not even getting into the projects that aren't quite there yet, that we're getting soon. What the Western Strike hype has been real. For a project that is still in pre-production, the hype for that has been real. And same with Ancient Age. Those look great. The animation for Ancient Age looks amazing. I am not just saying that because I'm in both of them, but because like they are just like that have been saying, hey, yeah, but like they're genuinely saying like, hey, we're here, this is happening, and we're not quite there with production yet, but we're making this happen. Check this out. Check out what we've been going, and like having the conversations with Alex, the creator of Western Strike, like he's got a plan to build it up, like put it out there piece by piece by piece. And the projects that are happening have gotten me excited. I mean, the future of Power Rangers, it's in the hands of the fans right now. The reboot might be good, but in terms of pure fanverse, future's looking bright, baby.
We'll see.
That's good.
I feel like that's a hopeful
bombshell.
That's a hopeful note to end things on. I feel like. Yeah.
I think it is. I think we shall end it there.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We love you. Catch you nerds later around the globe.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Cool, yeah.
Cool.